Yeah. I'm saying work hard. We good. All right. And you send them. Oh, I see it. All right. There we go. And you ready, bro? Recording too. All right. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
My apologies. It's technologying.
Technology is great when it works.
Yeah, Wi-Fi willing is always how we produce shows. Wi-Fi willing. All right. So we're back. I love that drop because it always happens when I'm least expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about your involvement in DMV music.
Okay.
Because like pre-show we were having some pretty
It's in depth. Yeah.
in-depth conversations about what's going on in the culture and what could be happening to strengthen it.
Yeah.
So like let's start at like your upbringing and what even leads to any interest in the creative spaces. And like were there any like early signs of creativity where maybe your parents would be like, well, when he was in 5th grade.
Yeah, I mean, always considered myself a outsider.
Mm.
So, as I was coming up, hip hop wasn't or rap wasn't really strong out here. Like this is during a time where the bands reigned supreme, and if you was rapping, you was like Alabama, like
Yeah.
like he want to be from New York, he want to be from this place or whatever else. So, I just really gravitated towards the hip hop culture as a whole as it was kind of evolving. Um, and I know earlier on I had a certain stereo that I could fix the antenna to point towards Baltimore. They had like 92Q on or whatever. That's when they would have the Rap Attack show.
Ooh.
And you'll be able to hear like different people come through, like Common would come through, Black Thought, Talib, all these different lyricists, and just how they was putting words together. That shit was just blowing my mind. Like,
Yeah.
how can they do that? Like, I would try it, it wouldn't work out, but I just would be like, yo, how are they doing that?
Right,
It
right,
seemed
right.
Like they could just say exactly what they wanted to say, and it
Fit.
rhymed. Like,
Yeah.
you're just intrigued. So just being intrigued and wanting to challenge myself, just was like, all right, let me try it. But yeah, it wasn't the musical influence here. Like I do have some DC Royal blood as far as the music scene goes. My older cousin, Gary L. Drew,
Mm-hmm.
he was really heavy in the whole go-go movement here in DC. And then my younger cousin, Kenny Drew, he was up at the radio station for a while
Okay.
doing this thing. So music was always in my family, so to speak, but not in the rap or hip hop route.
Round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
Damn. And so now that spawned into you as an artist, and you got this label endeavor as well. Let's talk about that endeavor. Like,
Can you pick your mic up a little bit?
Okay.
um,
Maybe I'm chilling too heavy. Let me sit up a little bit.
look, the audience. I'm trying to make our guests comfortable. The audience said, "Look,
Yeah, like we can't hear nothing. Nah, but go ahead.
so with the label situation, what makes one want to take on a label, especially like in today's marketplace where like signing is frowned upon and artists are hiding their deals and so on and so forth. That's not necessarily the route a lot of people are trying to go right now.
Yeah.
Production houses are a thing to a certain extent.
Yeah, I just think people have been misinformed. I think there's been so much complaining from the actual technicians, so to speak, the technicians being the musicians, that the bragging rights don't allow them to say that they are in control of this or in control of that. So it kind of skewed the real vision or the real purpose of what the label is.
Yeah.
Just for them to go off and be independent and need a team. That team that's your label. That's ultimately what it is. So, if you're not an artist and you still want to get behind an artist or what have you, you have to be a part of that artist team, right?
Yeah.
The easiest way to do that is to be a part of that label that represents the artist. So the label is the entity that moves the artist from place to place. And when you think about it, if you are at a company that is going somewhere, that has a clear vision on how they're going to market, how they're going to get their products to market, and then have some type of um, scalable plan, you will be more susceptible to rock with them
Mm-hmm.
versus somebody that's like, yeah, I think I can do it. Well, let's
Yeah.
try this or let's try that. So that's ultimately what we doing. We doing square business over here.
Got you. Dang.
I know that was a lot.
No,
Nah,
not
you
at all.
good.
No, these this is a valid
I can get long winded, so y'all just cut me. You know what I mean?
Nah, you good. So like you said, you feel like people are misinformed, and I think that's true, especially with like what people will say, like, oh well, J. Cole's independent, Big Crit's independent, Currency's independent, but they all were on labels at one point,
That's right.
and they learned how to move independently by being on a label first.
Yeah, and then they also got artists up under them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They because Cole got Dreamville. Is that his joint?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
him. Currency has Jet Life.
Jet Light. I mean, so
Does
they
Crit?
I don't think Crit has a label.
what he be screaming something multi.
I think that's just him.
That's just him.
Yeah.
I think that's the label that is just Big Crit.
That's Crit. Oh, okay. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I got you.
I mean, I just don't think he as a label hasn't taken on any other artists because
I got you.
he got everything else he would need. He can distribute it. He can produce it.
And Crit is one of my all time favorites.
Crit is amazing.
He's
Crit is
one of
amazing.
my all time favorites. I know a lot of people didn't really like his last joint, the Digital Roses Don't Die.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite joints of Chris.
I gotta listen to it again. Like a lot of times, I gotta go back and when I listen to it,
Yo, it's a lot of pain in that joint, man. He was going through something.
man, I gotta go back and listen to it with a clean ear.
Yeah, that joint's crazy. But yeah, as far as that's the way it should go, and it's just unfortunate that it's not enough people that have a passion for supporting artists or products, so to speak, versus everybody rushing to get into the front of the limelight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It don't work like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the thing that's interesting and like often missed in like a Currency story or a Cole story is like they are independent, right? But they're still on a label. They're on their own label, and their label has the things a label would have, and it has the pieces, the team that's necessary to drive these tours and this merch and all the pieces in between the PR runs and all of the things that you need to do to support a record. Like, and it shows when, like, for instance, right now, Currency is on a press run for his project with Jermaine Dupri. And like, you normally don't see him do this, but when it's time, he ready and he got the people around to go. Like, he done been to the Breakfast Club, he done been with Gilly and Wallow, he done been like both of them. You don't see either one of them as much as you've seen them in the last 2 weeks on people's platforms.
I mean, that's just a veteran company that knows how to win. They know that it's beneficial to them to move certain pieces on the board at certain times. It's like, what would be the purpose of them going on the Breakfast Club or these different things if they didn't have something to actually, sell? And that's kind of going back to the conversation we was having. It was like, okay, if I know I need to sell these tickets, or I know I need to sell this particular, product that I have, how I'm gonna go about doing it? And all that stuff gotta fit into what I'm actually gonna be able to run up, right? So if I don't have that end goal in mind, going on these different platforms, it's not really gonna help you the way they think it's gonna help you. Like a lot of artists feel like, if I can just get to, Sway in the morning, if I can just get to the Breakfast Club or whatever, I'm lit, I'm on. that's just that's a billboard. That's
Yeah.
what it is. That's all that
Yeah.
is. It's a billboard. You get up there and you say, "Hey, my name is Joe Young." They gonna be like, "Cool, that's what's up." Then what else? Oh, and while I'm talking, let me go ahead and plug the tour date for Richmond is the 28th of April. So, make sure y'all come out. We down in Richmond at VA Boombox.
VA Boombox. Got it.
So with all that being said, like, part of what's happened, even how had the opportunity, a great opportunity to be sitting here with y'all, is because there's an end goal.
Mm-hmm.
I love to come kick it with y'all. Don't get me wrong. But
Right.
the purpose of it is to shine light on the end goal, which is not only to sell the tickets for this particular thing, but then offer consulting services for other artists that want to get to a sustainable place in their career.
Got you.
So
Got you. Nah, that's heavy. And speaking of sustainability, the producer you got working with,
oh Lord,
you was telling me pre-show a little bit about his resume.
yeah, I mean it's extensive.
It's heavy.
It's extensive. So some of his earlier work dates all the way back to the Carrie Hilson, Fabulous, and Ryan Leslie song, where he was able to record Carrie down at Timberland Studio
In Virginia Beach.
In Virginia Beach, being able to be somewhere